with Americans stranded in Afghanistan, and yes, stranded, that's what they are, the credibility of the United States is shredded by our inept exit there. And now we've suffered the worst loss of American military personnel in 11 years, and the first casualty in Afghanistan since February of 2020. It's so bungled that the British Parliament did something that it has never in its history ever done. It voted to censure the President of the United States. Think about that. Joe Biden has continued to pretend that world leaders are standing with him, but not one world leader has said a public positive word. In fact, it's been the opposite. The Germans have said that Biden has virtually destroyed NATO. The French, yes, the French have lectured us about moral responsibility to the people being held hostage there by the Taliban terrorists. Heck, even the Belgians have condemned the way this mess has been handled. And how has President Biden responded? Well, stepping to a microphone, screaming into the teleprompter words that someone else wrote and that he has trouble reading, boasting about Democrats going on a wild shopping spree with your tax dollars, spending $3.5 trillion on giveaways to try to buy some more voters. It's pretty clear Joe Biden wants to talk about his domestic agenda. That way we won't pay attention to the collapse in Afghanistan. Now, we're not about to forget about those Americans stranded in Kabul, but I'll oblige him and I'll talk about his equally disastrous domestic plan. He insists that we keep paying people to not work and indefinitely extending the unemployment benefits to people who refuse to take one of the jobs being offered by desperate employers who are really having a tough time, having to close restaurants, lumber mills, and construction sites. I mean, as long as Uncle Joe will pay people more money to get up at the crack of noon and watch Netflix than they get to work, hey, people will take the government handout. I mean, I think instead of giving non-workers an extra $300 to sit on their ample backsides and stay away from work, I got a better idea. We ought to give that $300 as a bonus to the people who actually showed up to work. I mean, we tax the wages of the workers, but not the welfare of the lazy. And I want to be very clear. I do not begrudge people who cannot work, but I got no sympathy for those who simply won't work and are willing to let others lift their loads while the only thing they lift is their federally subsidized forks. I say take the taxes off those who are sweating through hot summer days on the job. And if a person is capable of working and they just won't take a job, cut the benefits to zero. And Biden's energy plan has resulted in your gas just to get to work costing $1 to $2 a gallon more than it did just a year ago. He killed an American pipeline and the thousands of jobs that died with it. Then he turned around and approved the Russians' pipeline, which gave them great riches at our expense. He's turned our southern border into a free-flowing fire hose of human beings rushing into America without us having a clue who they are, whether or not they're drug runners, human traffickers, or criminals, and not seeming to care whether they have been vaccinated or wear a mask or socially distance. While Democrats are shutting down churches for fear of COVID, they turn a blind eye to illegal immigration. So here's an idea. Tell your pastor that if you've got an idiot for a governor or mayor who's forcing your church to close, encourage your pastor to announce that your church will now identify as the southern border and tell the masses just to come on in. That'll work. There are days, I'm not sure we're going to hold out until the 2022 elections, but if we miraculously do, please think about who you vote for in the next election. Because if you keep sending socialists and sociopaths to serve in Congress, as well as your local school board, then you're going to deserve the mess. But frankly, I'll never vote for people who hate this great country, because I believe we all deserve better. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.